What's up, everybody? This is Master Ian Gamer, and today was a big day for Overwatch news. Talon has taken over the official Overwatch social media accounts, teasing something coming pretty soon. A new leak points toward an actual Overwatch and Fortnite collab possibly being in the near future, and yet another Overwatch collaboration event is coming to Japan, featuring some pretty charming new merchandise. So let's go ahead and jump right on in, starting with the Talon takeover of Overwatch. So earlier today, Blizzard's official Overwatch social media accounts made a spontaneous transition featuring new profile pictures, banner artwork, all themed around Talon taking over Overwatch. Even in-game itself, assuming you're able to actually get into the game, seeing as there's also a major Overwatch DDoS attack today, but let's not worry too much about that. The game itself has even been redesigned to feature new Talon imagery and icons on the main menu and cue screens and everything, showing that Blizzard is really going all in with whatever it is they're doing here. And as for what that thing likely is, well, it's very clearly tied to Talon, of course, and more specifically, Vendetta. For the Talon logo that they've now been plastering all over their socials today is not the original Talon logo that we've had for years since the start of Overwatch, but a new updated design, one which more closely resembles that of a wolf's face, which is of course a direct reference to Vendetta. Now, we know from Vendetta's story that her goal is to retake her throne in Talon, essentially, and especially if you've seen the leaks that have come out regarding Vendetta for a few months at this point, we have a pretty good idea of how that's actually going to play out, and it seems like this Talon takeover is probably the first step of that actual story beat playing out. Vendetta is taking over Talon, and Talon is taking over Overwatch. And I, for one, am rather excited to see how this plays out. It's been a long time since we've had a sort of story-focused, exciting reveal like this, where Blizzard actually makes a big fanfare about something that happens in the game. And while we don't know what exactly it's going to entail for the game itself yet, whether there's going to be any new game modes, new in-game playable PvE missions, perhaps? That would be exciting, although I would not hold my breath for it. Regardless, there's definitely a push in the story direction for Overwatch here, and whether they stick the landing with it or not is yet to be seen, but I will commend Blizzard on doing a good job of actually garnering some hype, once again, by doing a fun social media publicity stunt, in essence, is what this is, focusing on whatever sort of Talon thing they're planning to do. One of the images even posted by Blizzard in this way features what looks to be a partially redesigned Rialto map, where we can see the second portion of the map Rialto having been redesigned to feature the new Talon logo on a banner along the dockside, along with the addition of turrets atop the Talon base, which serves as the very final point of the map. Whether this is indeed teasing some sort of redesign for the map itself, or perhaps even some sort of PvE type content to be set here again in a possible future mission, we don't know, but it is interesting to see that there is some degree of redesign going into existing content, in this case, the Rialto map, and I'm curious how much this is going to extend beyond just what we see here. We are coming up pretty soon on Season 21, and so far Blizzard has put out basically nothing in terms of what the theme or content of that season's gonna entail, so I would not be surprised if Talon ends up being a major focus of Season 21. Perhaps it ends up being something similar to Mirror Watch, where we get a bunch of Talon-themed skins for different heroes, or a focus more so on the story side of Overwatch, whereas past seasons that have been the sort of yearly refresh season have focused more on gameplay type changes in the competitive scene. Maybe this year it's mostly a focus on story, which I'll be honest, I think would be a very refreshing change of pace, and something that I think a lot of players would definitely like seeing. Still though, we just have to sort of wait and see. We don't know what exactly they have planned here, but it is interesting to see this sort of push, and I am very eager to watch it unfold, whatever it ends up being. But moving on to our next topic, Overwatch is coming to Fortnite. Maybe. While the idea of an Overwatch and Fortnite collab is something that has existed literally for as long as the games themselves, we may be having some actual evidence now that a collab between the two could be happening soon, thanks to a post by Sheena on X, who is a renowned leaker within the Fortnite community, announcing that an Overwatch Fortnite collab is going to be dropping within 3 months. Now, as is usually the fashion for these sort of leakers, they did not elaborate. And based on the track record of Sheena and others like them, it can kind of be up in the air whether or not these sort of predictions and leaks actually end up coming true, but Sheena's track record for the most part has been fairly good. So it's safe to say that there's some credibility to the leak they're posting here. Again, take it with a grain of salt, it's not official and there's no guarantee we're going to see it end up happening. Even if the leaked information is true and there is plans for a collab to happen within the next 3 months, there's always even the possibility that it gets delayed or put off or canceled even for one reason or another behind the scenes. So while this is another case that I'm not going to be holding my breath for things to end up happening, I am curious to see whatever this is end up playing out, because in this day and age where Fortnite collabs with literally everything, it does kind of seem like an Overwatch collab might not be that unlikely. And then on to our final story for today. A new Overwatch collaboration event will be taking place in Japan starting in February, this time a collaboration with a chain of internet cafes featuring merchandise with brand new Overwatch character artwork and even collaboration cafe menu items, being various foods inspired by the cultures of the different heroes, as well as drinks. As many of you may recall, there was a very similar Overwatch collaboration event with Red Tokyo Tower back about a year ago, which also featured original artwork of the different characters, along with corresponding merchandise. And as much as I love this type of thing and seeing this new merch dropping for the different heroes, it is unfortunately, once again, a Japanese exclusive event. And furthermore, unlike the Red Tokyo Tower collaboration that happened previously, this new one doesn't appear to have an online store for any of the merchandise they're going to be selling, which means you have to be going to the internet cafes in person in order to get any of the merchandise, which for those of us living in the West basically means these are unobtainable. Now, I'm sure at least some of this merch will end up finding its way to eBay or other sites where we will be able to purchase it secondhand, but the pricing for that is anyone's guess. And more than likely, I think it's going to end up being the case that this merchandise specifically is going to be all but unobtainable for anyone outside of Japan. Yeah, it really sucks. I hate when Blizzard does region-specific things like this, but that's just how it goes. They only seem to want to produce and put out merchandise when it comes to Asia. So for those of us in the West, we just get to admire from afar and not actually get it for ourselves. Anyways, that does it for today's Overwatch news update. Thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely let me know your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments down below. Are you excited for the upcoming Talon whatever ends up happening? Are you curious to see whether or not we do actually get a Fortnite Overwatch collab? Or maybe you're just lamenting the fact that there's this cool new Overwatch event happening in Japan that those of us in the West just don't get to partake in. Either way, be sure to subscribe, hit up that bell icon, follow me on X, and join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch 2 news streams and other content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.